Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, high winds overnight brought power outages and tree damage to the crossroads. The Victoria Regional Airport gets good grades from a federal rating of Texas airports. And one part of the STAR testing this year will be totally graded by computers.
Well, we had that windstorm overnight, but it's not over with just yet. In fact, up in the hill country, we have some big storms over Mason and San Saba. Those are going to be rolling sort of southeast toward the coast and possibly affect our area overnight. So I still expect stormy weather after midnight. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment.
And we've got a pair of UHV Jags shining out on the diamond here from both of them coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. Today is an alert day. We have storms on the way to the crossroads. Let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. Mac?
Well, first of all, Don, you know we had the windstorm overnight. Some of you might have slept through it, but we had 52-mile-an-hour wind gusts about 3 o'clock in the morning that did all that damage. Now tonight, we've got more activity that we're tracking across Texas. You can see Austin right here. There's a big thunderstorm real close and another one in the hill country near Mason that could be a problem. Now watch this map. By the time we get to tomorrow morning, there's going to be another line coming through here, probably about 2 or 3 o'clock. That's going to give us some severe weather, possibly some hail as well. So we'll be talking more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Don.
Mac, thank you. High winds caused power outages and traffic light issues all around Victoria this morning. As of just a few minutes ago, 100 AEP Texas customers in Victoria County were still without power. A big tree in the front yard of a Victoria woman's house had major damage in the winds.
Somewhere between 2 and 3, I'm not sure exact what time. And I just heard the big crack, but I didn't go outside because wind that fast would have blown me away.
Tree damage was reported all around Victoria after the heavy winds. Our area had strong winds around 3 a.m. This is at the Landing Apartments in the 1200 block of Millette Drive. That's east of North Navarro and north of Zach Lentz Parkway. You can see a tree fell over near that building. And here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Did you receive any wind damage on your property? Yes or no? Let's look at the numbers. 28% of you, just changed a second ago. 28% of you say yes. 72% of our voters say no. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and I will have an update on 25 News now at 10. A fourth charge was added against an 18-year-old suspect arrested by Victoria police Monday afternoon. Aldrich Littles of Victoria faces 2 drug charges plus deadly conduct, discharge of a firearm, and abandoning or endangering a child with criminal neglect. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $110,000 bond. The body of a woman from Port Lavaca was recovered from the ship channel in Port Aransas. Police say the woman was driving a vehicle with a 54-year-old man in the passenger seat. Authorities got a call for a reckless driver around 8:25 last night. When police arrived, they determined the vehicle went into the water. The search was called off this morning at 2 o'clock. The vehicle was found this morning at 9:15 and pulled from the water around 1 p.m. It was 28 feet below the surface. The woman was found deceased inside the vehicle. Police have not released her name. A fatal 2-vehicle crash happened early this morning in Point Comfort. The Port Lavaca Wave reported a collision between an 18-wheeler and a white truck outside of Formosa at 3:09 a.m. Crews from the Point Comfort Volunteer Fire Department arrived at the scene and found the driver of the truck dead. The driver of the 18-wheeler exited from his vehicle himself. Fire crews also reported diesel fuel leaking from one of the fuel tanks from the 18-wheeler. The scene was cleared around 5:50 a.m. Authorities identified human remains found in DeWitt County. Skeletal remains were discovered on February 23, 2021, just outside Nordheim. The remains were sent to the Forensic Anthropology Center at Texas State University for identification. They were identified as 48-year-old Maria de Vargas of San Salvador. A forensic report found no signs of foul play. Authorities believe de Vargas was being smuggled from San Salvador to Houston at the time of her death. The DeWitt County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate her death. Steve Greenwell will take on incumbent Micah Harmon in the Lavaca County Sheriff's race on May 28th. Greenwell has more than 25 years of law enforcement experience. He served in positions focused on combating drug trafficking, human trafficking, and other crimes. His main focus is border-related crimes and issues in Lavaca County.
So that's going to be my goal. Early on is to make solid partnerships with these other agencies so that we can make Lavaca County safer and more prosperous for Lavaca County residents.
He's not new to the county. He served as Justice of the Peace in Lavaca County before resigning to pursue the sheriff's position. He received 43% in the initial race, but he'll have to secure 50% in the runoff on May 28th. The Victoria Regional Airport gets high marks in a federal review of Texas airports in 2023. The Department of Transportation's Bureau of Transportation Statistics shows that of all 26 Texas airports, Victoria Regional had the highest number of on-time flights at almost 90%. The study shows Victoria Regional had fewer than 13% of flights delayed and less than 1% of arriving flights canceled. That tied for the best in the survey. The Memorial Medical Center Board of Managers in Port Lavaca accepted CEO Rashonda Thomas's letter of resignation and notice of intent to resign. The Port Lavaca Wave reports Aaron Clevenger will be appointed interim CEO. Thomas started work at MMC in 2014 as an assistant administrator before becoming CEO in September 2022. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing Harris County. Paxton wants to block what he calls an illegal guaranteed income welfare scheme. The program would give to about 1,900 households payments of $500 for 18 months with no strings attached. Paxton called it, quote, plainly unconstitutional, unquote. The money comes from the $20 million Harris County got through the 2021 American Rescue Plan Act. It was specifically meant to be used for COVID-19 relief. Texas will use computers to grade written answers on this year's STAR test. The Texas Tribune reports the state will save more than $15 million by using technology similar to ChatGPT to give initial scores, reducing the number of human graders needed. The change comes after the STAR test was redesigned last year. The test now includes fewer multiple choice questions and more open-ended questions. After the redesign, there are 6 to 7 times more constructed response items. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. The Aggies might bring back one of their long-standing traditions before they host the Texas Longhorns this fall in football. Also ahead, a 105-year-old North Texas man keeps on going and keeps on watching eclipses.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking the identification of a subject involved in an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. On January 29, 2024, a Hispanic female pointed a handgun at another person at the 1400 block of Sam Houston Drive. The female was wearing a dark-colored hoodie jacket, sweatpants, and a t-shirt. If you have any information about the identity of this female, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With Victoria Crime Stoppers, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
"25 years after a fatal bonfire, Texas A&M is considering bringing that student tradition back. The Texas Tribune reports a university system region has sought input from the victims' families about restoring the tradition. It was suspended after the 1999 tragedy. A 60-foot stack of logs fell and killed 12 people that year. The Texas A&M University System Board of Regents is considering bringing the tradition back ahead of the school's first football matchup against the University of Texas at Austin since 2011. Now that the eclipse is over, you may be wondering what to do with your eclipse glasses. There are a number of organizations that recycle or reuse them. Astronomers Without Borders has been accepting donations of eclipse glasses for 15 years. You can drop off or mail your used glasses. You can also send them to Eclipse Glasses USA, which repurposes used glasses for future celestial events. Or you could pack your glasses away for the next major eclipse in, 20 years. Solar eclipses are rare for sure, but they are not as uncommon as you might think if you're willing to travel to see them. One North Texas man, after yesterday, has now seen more than a dozen of them.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm glad to see those clouds opening up. We may see this thing yet.
Watching an eclipse doesn't get old for Laverne Beiser, who's just a couple of months shy of his 106th birthday. As he set up cameras, the skies over Plano cleared, so he and his family could watch his 13th eclipse. He drove his family to Maine for his first one back in 1963. Did you ever think that 61 years later, you'd be watching another eclipse?
Back in those days, I didn't look that far ahead.
Anticipation builds as the moment of totality grew closer, then arrived.
It's almost total, but a little bit of a crescent here. You see how dark it is.
Look how dark it is, y'all. Oh, look at there it is.
There's a diamond ring.
Here's a time lapse from light to darkness to light over 8 minutes.
Oh, it turned out almost perfect. As good as any I've ever seen.
It was practically perfect.
Beiser's daughter, Carol Barlow, says sharing this eclipse was as special as their family's first.
It was pretty neat, pretty cool. Sorry.
Viewing eclipses became such a serious hobby for Beiser that when his daughter Carol got engaged, there were only 2 potential dates for their wedding day. Only one would work.
Our birthdays are in July, 3 days apart, and so we thought it would be neat to get married on July 8th. Daddy said, well, if you want me to give you away, it'll have to be June, because in July, on the 8th, I'll be in Prince Edward Island watching the eclipse.
After traveling all over the U.S. and the world to see solar eclipses, the lifelong astronomy buff said this celestial event was fitting.
This eclipse came to us here in Texas.
How lucky are you to
Oh,
see all
just
this?
lucky 13.
The next eclipse that will be visible from the continental U.S. won't be until 2044. But if you are willing to travel to Iceland, Spain, or Russia, another is coming in 2026. You want to pack up for that, Mac?
Yeah, I bet that little old man will be there ahead of us, you know. It's amazing. Good stuff for him. All right, good evening, folks. So we had that windstorm overnight. That's over, but that storm that caused that wind is the one that's coming at us tonight. Right now, we're at 82, rather warm and muggy. We managed to get up to, let's see, 83. That was our high temperature for today with the average 80. Now, the stormy weather is still to develop. It's developing out west, and it's probably going to be here in about 6 hours. So it's going to be in the overnight time period. We may have some more thunder, lightning, and possibly hail, all that. So we'll be talking about it after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. Last night, it wasn't your significant other snoring. It was a windstorm that blew through here. We got a 52-mile-an-hour wind gust. So that's why the trees were down and the trash cans were knocked over this morning. That's all gone because all of that pulled away, as you can see right about here. However, there's more stuff to the west of it that's just developing. In fact, this right here is the storm center. That is a low pressure. You can see it spinning round and round, producing all kinds of problems in New Mexico, but the low is going to go down almost to Laredo before it starts turning northeast, and that's when it's going to roll over us. Now already they have the red, that's for the red flag advisory for fire danger after the storm goes through because very dry winds are coming in behind that. But right now the big stuff is right here in central Texas. Let's see, Austin's right here, Georgetown right here, thunderstorm going over just Travis County right there, and these are big. Now the biggest one is out here in Mason, if you know where that is. They had a potential tornado out there, and I don't have any reports of anything on the ground, but they warned the area for a possible tornado because the storm was getting so big. These are holding 1 and 2 inch hail, so these are big storms. Now the question is, will that area, this is what I think is going to happen. This area is going to destabilize all the way down to about Laredo, and we're going to build a line tonight, probably 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. And then after midnight, that whole stuff will roll around and roll over our area. Now here's Austin again. Here's North Travis County, another one over the Highland Lakes, and here's the big one over San Saba and Mason. So up there in the hill country, they're getting some busy stuff right about now. Now, this is Future Tracker. We're going to go forward in time. So we start at 5 o'clock, right? Then we go to 8 o'clock, and at that point in time, it indicates a thunder shower popping south of us, possibly affecting us by 9 o'clock, okay? Then we go forward again to 11 o'clock, and there you see that line of storms that's going to develop right along I-35, and then it sort of swings around and comes back up to affect our area. This would be about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. The good news is that by 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, the whole thing's going to roll through, and we're going to pick up a rather gusty northwest wind behind it. Now, if you're worried about the winds, well, you know, that's a whole lot better than having to deal with possible hail out of that system. So the hail window is somewhere between midnight and 3 a.m. By 6 a.m., we don't have to worry about it anymore. It will be gone, and we're going to pick up that northwest winds. Here's the severe weather outlook for tonight. You can see how we do have a slight risk of having something big coming through here, but by tomorrow, you can see how it all goes away. In fact, Mississippi is going to be under the gun, but we'll be clear of all of that. So here's our storm. The storm is rolling, it's developing, it's coming through here. It's going to give us that offshore wind right after it passes through. Then high pressure builds up, and that's going to give us a couple of fairly nice days, as a matter of fact, with dry humidities and low and abundant sunshine. So middle of the week is looking pretty good. In fact, as we get all the way to Friday and Saturday, Sunday, we start picking up that Gulf air once again behind it and picking up a little bit of cloud cover, but that's for the next weekend. So tonight, tomorrow rather, by 9 a.m., shouldn't have any problems. We're going to go sunny and windy with a northwest to westerly wind. In Cuero, we're looking for the morning stuff, and then the afternoon clears up very nicely with that gusty northwest wind getting us up to about 75. 7 days, well, after tonight's activities, then Wednesday clears up. We get up to 78. Nice for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are looking pretty good because we got lots of activities going on downtown for the dedication of the new De Leon Park and our bicentennial that is beginning. That is the 7-day forecast, and we'll toss it back to Don.
All right, thank you. And Zach Brown is here with UHV making some news on the field.
That's right. A pair of Jags actually taking home some honors, and you can hear from both of them coming up in sports. UHV athletics getting some national recognition, and we're going to start out in softball with Kenzie Chambers, who has been named the Red River Athletic Conference Player of the Week. In 6 games last week, she hit .729, had a homer, and had 11 stolen bases. By the way, that is a now single season record for UHV softball. Chambers honored and excited for what's to come.
I'm incredibly honored. I've only been with this program for 2 years, and the love that I've gotten here is just unexplainable. The love from my coaches, my teammates, the community. We love to be out there. I like being called upon. I think I operate well under pressure, and when my teammates line up great opportunities for me, there's nothing else I can do but just grow off that and do what the team needs me to do. We're starting to show up and be someone that someone has to worry about. I think no one can ever underestimate us, because if they do, we're going to come take games from them. So it's just great to be recognized on the level where I think this team is at. I've just been so proud of this group of girls and everything that we've accomplished together. So many records have been broken this season alone. So I just am so excited to see where we go, honestly.
Well, congrats to UHV star Kinsey Chambers, one of many stars for the ladies who, like she said, have set multiple records. Now on the boys' side of things, they currently sit in second place as they look primed to make another run in the conference, and they too had a Red River Athletic Conference Player of the Week, that being Hal Perez, the star catcher, who has done a great job with the pitching staff and behind the plate, tied for 5th in the nation and cutting down runners trying to steal, and he got his bat going offensively last week. And while he's very honored by the selection, Hal Perez only cares about his Jaguars as a team and the commitment to get even better.
It was a team week. Like I like to say, we play as a team. We did everything together, and it just feels good to help my team win another game. Season-wise, it feels good. Like we were watching the other day the records last year at this point and this year, and we feel good. The team looks good. Chemistry is there. Just a few little things that we know we're gonna find it when playoff time comes, but it feels good. And I don't know, this team this year, it looks good, and I know we can accomplish something better than last year.
Congrats to both of those guys. Now, earlier this week, the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, or the NAIA, voted on a policy that effectively bans transgender women from participating in most of its women's programs, and it has upset some, so that's going to lead us to your viewer poll. Do you agree with the NAIA's decision to ban trans women from competing in women's sports? Yes or no? 95% of you say yes, 5% of you say no. Thank you for voting. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. Now, still sticking on the diamond, talking about the major league level, the Astros had some bad news regarding Framber Valdez and elbow soreness. He's heading to the IL, and their AAA call-up Blair Henley struggled, to say the least. Texas had 5 runs before Henley recorded just 1 out, but the Astros continue to make Globe Life their home away from home. The offense woke up, and Houston erased the 5-2 deficit, get the win 10-5. They look to continue their winning ways as they hit the road to Kansas City, looking for 3 in a row. That is it for your sports. Don, back to you.
All right, thank you, Zach. And we're back in a moment. Find out why a volcano in Italy is now called Lady of the Rings. Tonight, Mount Etna is putting on quite a display recently by blowing smoke rings into the sky over Italy. Wow. Italy's majestic volcano has been spitting out what are known as volcanic vortex rings over the last several days. Volcanic vortex rings are natural, near perfect circles of gas emitted from a volcano under specific conditions. And scientists say Mount Etna emits more than any other volcano on Earth. The rings have led locals to rename the volcano Lady of the Rings. And that's no smoke. Let's first talk. We've got some breaking news in sports.
Yeah, kind of. So Victoria Generals, well, they had a guy named Spencer Arrighetti who used to play for them. He is now the Astros' top pitching prospect. He has just been called up by Houston and is reportedly going to make his major league debut tomorrow in Kansas City. So pretty big news for the Astros and pretty big news for the Victoria Generals right here. You know, big time stuff.
Thank you, Zach. We got some big news coming in storms.
Yes, overnight by midnight, I expect some stormy weather to roll into our area, so do watch out. It'll be until about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We could have some thunder, lightning, and maybe some hail. But the good news is by tomorrow morning, it all blows away, and we've got a pretty good looking week ahead all the way to the weekend, which is our 200th anniversary of our city.
In Victoria, yes. Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10.